look at this fish. What's up, guys? Oh, I'm Gene Jensen. Today we're going to talk about how to choose the proper line type for what you're fishing. All right, so to start off with, I'm only going to talk about 3 different types of line. The main types that people use: monofilament, fluorocarbon, and braid. To start off with monofilament, what are the advantages of monofilament? First of all, it's very inexpensive. So if you're on a budget, do it. Start with monofilament. Don't spend a whole lot of money on braid or anything like that until you know you like it and you're willing to spend that kind of money. But monofilament is it floats, which is great for topwater. Hold on, I got a little blowhole right here in this mat. Let's see if I can catch a fish out of it. But it floats. So if you're fishing open water, topwater, and you need your line to float up, you don't want your line to pull your bait down into the water, monofilament is excellent. Maybe perhaps you want to throw a crankbait and keep it up in the water column a little bit. You can throw monofilament and it'll help keep that help keep it up. The disadvantages to monofilament is it absorbs water, so you can lose a lot of properties. You can lose, actually you can lose some strength to it if you spend a lot of time fishing it that day and it soaks up a lot of water. But that's it. I mean, that's pretty much all I would use it for. Like I said, if you're on a budget, use it for everything. Get 20-pound test for flipping, get 15-pound test for the majority of stuff, or 12-pound for the majority of stuff that you use. For 10-pound and less for spinning reels, that kind of stuff if you're on a budget. Second line. Your second line is fluorocarbon. It's what I use the most. I either use it as a leader on the end of braided line, or I use it as a main line. The advantages to fluorocarbon: it's got a lot less stretch than monofilament, so you can get a good hook set into your fish. And it also makes it to where it's a lot more sensitive. You have a better feel of what's on the bottom and what's happening with your bait. It sinks, and so on techniques where you need a bait to sink, like a drop shot, and you want it to sink while it's, you put it down, the drop shot's on the bottom and the bait's up here, and you want the bait to be able to sink down with its weight. You don't have the line pulling the bait back up. Crankbaits, it makes crankbaits go down a little bit deeper. It's, I don't know if I already said this, but it's a little bit abrasion resistant. At least the stuff that I use Seagar Brazex, which is amazing, easily castable, and it's very, very abrasion resistant. So let me think, what are some of the other advantages? It's super clear. So you're fishing in clear water. The clearer the water, the lighter the line you want it to be, but the bass don't see it as easily, is what I'm trying to say. And so I pretty much use it for just about everything except for this kind of stuff. As you see behind me, I've got this big thick mat of hydrilla, or mat of grass, heavy cover and stuff like that. I may not use it for use of fluorocarbon for that, just because I run the risk of breaking a fish off underneath that mat. For stuff like this, thick cover, fishing frogs, fishing jigs in thick cover, whatever, in thick cover, I'm going to go with braided line. Braided line has 0 stretch, or almost 0 stretch, so you can set the hook like a beast. It floats, so you can fish it on top water. I particularly don't like to fish treble hook baits with braid because they get wrapped around the braid wraps around the hooks, but some people do. Great for frogs, great for anything in the thick cover, flipping jigs, punching. I don't use anything on a bait caster. I don't use anything less than 40-pound test line, because when you get into the 30-pound and less on a bait caster, you'll find that you'll get more backlashes. That's just because of the diameter of the line. For some odd reason, that thinner diameter makes your braid backlash a whole lot easier. So stay 40 and up for bait casters. And I like to stay 30 and below, and I usually use 20 for spinning reels. Braid on spinning reels is a dream. My main line on all of my spinning reels is always braid, and then I just tie on a fluorocarbon leader using an FG knot. I'll leave the link to how to tie that up in the description, or down in the description, and up here in these little cards. And let me think, what else is the advantage of braid? It's just, I use it for full combat fishing. Man, if a fish blows up in this mat, I know that if I set the hook with braid, it's gonna rip through that hydrilla really easy, and I'm gonna be able to get a good positive hook set on that fish. I'm not worried about it. The disadvantages of it is if I ever get it hung up on something and I can't get to that bait, it's very difficult to break, of course. So that's it. That's the 3 lines. Like I said, if you're on a budget, just stick with monofilament. But if you're willing to put forth a little bit of money, I actually have a really good video, and I'll put that up here, about how to save money using braid and fluorocarbon line. You can buy braid, make it last for 2 to 3 years, and fluorocarbon, you buy 1 spool, tie on leaders, and you can make it last for a full season. So, but that's it. Well, like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing, introduce them to my channel, let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out on the water, go out and catch some fish, and have a great day. We'll see you.